Hi, Prosperity Team. It's Dr. Money coming to you from the Prosperity Corner of the universe, where silliness is sacred and nobody's perfect. I am your POP, your Professor of Prosperity, and I'm here so that all of our lives can pop with prosperity. We all want to walk the prosperity path. We want the good life. We want to be happy. We want to be healthy. We want things to go smoothly in our lives. And if we're going to have that, we're going to need to get some prosperity protection. We're going to need some insurance, something to help us along this prosperity path. The thing about it is that we have to be self-insured. Our prosperity protection, we are self-insured by right of our consciousness. Now, we need a lot of insurance. We need a lot of self-protection. And the reason that we do is because our culture operates on the belief that there's not enough and that I'm not enough. Everybody's caught it. It's a disease, and it's a contagious disease, and it's floating in our individual personality consciousness, and it's floating in the collective unconsciousness and the collective consciousness. Everybody goes around, there's not enough. I mean, we are on the edge constantly of a nervous breakdown because we are so upset and concerned about money all the time. And because power and greed has tried to take more than their share and hoard it and keep it from everyone. And this is one level of human activity and human consciousness, but there's a level that moves higher than that. There's a consciousness level that we can tune into. That's why we get so excited about metaphysics. Metaphysics means beyond the physical. What can we do that is beyond the physical? I love Eben Alexander's story. He wrote Proof of Heaven. He's the surgeon, I believe he was a brain surgeon, and he died, and well, his body was alive and they were keeping him alive, but his brain waves showed absolutely no activity. They didn't expect him to make it. But the time where he was out, he had all of these experiences, and he was able to come back and tell about them in great detail. But the funny thing is, like I've said before, during this time that he was having these experiences, his brain waves were flat. So there was no way that he could have been having these experiences in his brain, in his mind. He was having them outside of the brain. So consciousness and memories are not stored in the brain. They're stored somewhere else. They're stored beyond the physical, beyond the brain, beyond the brain, meta brain. We have a meta brain beyond what we think of as the physical brain. And so it is up to us then to have the wisdom and the genius to work outside of just our regular brain. Of course, it's wonderful to work with our regular brain because there's so many different breakthroughs now, neuroplasticity, where we know that we can change different parts of our brains and that we can activate this part of our mind. And especially with the pineal gland, we can activate that so that we have better memory and so that we have more intuition. You know, that's our third eye. We do need this prosperity protection, and I'm going to suggest that you take a look at that aspect of I'm not enough. I am not enough. Because even though you might think that you have handled it, we know that there's different layers of consciousness. There is kind of a physical layer in our brain, but the thoughts and beliefs that we have are stored in this meta brain, this outside the brain, that reacts to other things. It reacts to visualization. It reacts to emotions. It reacts to imagination. It is infused with genius. And that's the level that we want to work with, so that we can be transordinary. We want to be beyond the ordinary. We want to be, I don't say we want to reach our full capacity. I want to say that we want to move outside the capacity that we think we have into greater states of well-being and greater states of abundance. Now, we're in a particularly trying time because everywhere we look, we see that joblessness is up. We see that stimulus checks aren't coming through necessarily. They may come through. So we've got a fear focus in our in our whole society. But we've been through this many times before. We've had the pandemic of 1918. We've had recessions. We've had depressions. We've had all kinds of things, and we have to continue to move beyond what the events are of today, so that we can live in a space and place of harmony and flow. Now, I want to say that we can live in a place and space of harmony and flow and still have compassion, still have intermittent fear when we need to, but we don't need to live there. We just say, oh gosh, I'm afraid, and then we move out of that. So we don't want to go in denial. We want to open up to what is there so that we can move past it. That is really the prosperity path. That is that we embrace everything on the path, that we don't resist anything on the path, but we also imagine vividly a life of harmony, peace, and abundance. And those are the things that move us out of the present day material world. Our story, the things that we imagine today, are the things that we see in our present tomorrow. This is Dr. Money. I hope you remember one more thing for sure, and that is that I love you.